Good morning, friends, and happy Friday. It is me, Miss Ellen, and I am here today to remind you to soar for our guest teacher, but also to show you our super fun STAR activity today. Now, you're going to need quite a few materials today, and we are going to be painting. If you're excited, show me with your body. I love painting for our STAR activities. So let's go ahead and get started. Right away, you're going to need to grab 3 pieces of paper from the guest teacher. First thing you're going to need is you are going to need a piece of paper with a cloud on it. You're also going to need a sunshine, and you are going to need 1 strip that has 5 raindrops. Once you have those materials, you are also going to need paint, a paintbrush, and a cup of water. Just like always, if the cups of water are all gone, you need to be open-minded to sharing with a friend. Be extra careful not to spill the water today, because I want to be sure that we can show our guest teacher how we can soar with our materials. Once you have those couple things, you can find a table spot and you can get started. What we're first going to do today is we need to paint all of our pictures. A cloud in the sky can be white, but when it's full of rain and moisture, it usually changes to a gray cloud. So I am going to take my paint and my water. I'm going to put lots and lots and lots of water onto my paintbrush. I'm going to paint that cloud gray. You'll notice that there is a black in your paint. Usually we don't use the black, but today we are going to give it a try. Now, I don't want my cloud to be super dark black because that might be a scary storm cloud. I'm just going to try my best to make it a nice light gray color. I'm going to try my best to stay in the lines, but if you don't go in the lines today perfectly, that is a-okay, because we will be cutting our rain cloud out in just a few minutes. And I'm trying really hard not to make it too wet, because if I make it too wet, it's going to be extra tricky for me to cut out. And we're also going to be gluing today. If you try to use glue on top of wet paper, it's not going to stick as well. So I do want you to use enough water, but I don't want your paper to be soaking wet. All right, let me fill in this last little piece. That's kind of white right here. All righty, and there is my gray storm cloud. Once you're done with your storm cloud, you're just gonna put it off to the side so it has a few minutes to dry. Next, I'm going to paint my sun. Now, I want you to be extra careful that you only paint your sun yellow. I have never in my whole entire life seen a purple sun. I have never in my whole entire life seen a blue sun. And I know that you haven't seen those things either. So you're going to color your sun only the color yellow, just like the beautiful sunshine actually is. Now, just like with my storm cloud, I'm trying my best to stay in the lines, but it's okay if it's not perfect, because we will also be cutting out our sunshine today. But that being said, make sure that you use enough water, but not too much. Use too much, remember, it's going to be really tricky to cut out your sun and your cloud, and it's going to be hard for the glue to stick on top. Now that I'm done with my sunshine, I'm going to put my sunshine off to the side so that can dry along with my cloud. And last but not least, I need to paint in my raindrops. I want all of your raindrops to be the color of actual raindrops, which is the color blue. Some of my raindrops are missing the lines, but I'm just going to use my strong brain to figure out where those lines would actually be and try my best to paint on the inside. This very first one, I used maybe a little bit too much water, so I'm going to be extra mindful during the rest of my raindrops that I use a little bit less. All right, and there are my 5 raindrops. Once you are finished painting, I do want you to clean up your paint. So remember, you're going to close your paint until it clicks. You are going to return your paintbrush after giving it a good rinse in your water. Return your paintbrush to the cup in the back. If you are sharing a water with a friend, make sure that they're finished with it. If they're still using it, you can leave it. Otherwise, make sure you close your water and put it on the back next to the sink so another friend can use it when they need it, or so it can be cleaned up by the guest teacher. Next, you're going to grab all 3 of your paintings, and I want you to start by cutting out your cloud. This is the one that's going to be the most dry. So while we're cutting out our cloud, our sun has a few more minutes to dry, and our raindrops have a few more minutes to dry. So I'm going to get started cutting. I'm going to be really careful to stay on top of that black line. All right, now that my cloud is cut out, I'm going to put my scraps in the blue recycle bin. Next, I'm going to cut out my sunshine. It's still a tiny bit wet, but I can do it. I know I can. The sun is going to be a little more tricky for you to cut out. You just need to be patient with yourself and try your best. Recycle bin. The very last, just like with my other scraps, I need to make sure that my sunshine scraps go in the blue recycle bin. The very last thing I need to cut out is all of my raindrops. My raindrops are pretty much dry at this point, so it shouldn't take me too long. I'm just going to be really careful to make sure that my raindrops keep their nice raindrop shape. So I'm going to take my time to cut on these black lines as well. Alrighty, now that I'm done cutting, I'm going to make sure all of my scraps get put into the blue recycle bin. Once my things are in the blue recycle bin, I'm going to come back to my table spot, and next I'm going to need a glue stick. So I already have my glue stick ready, and we're going to put together our weather picture. So I am going to start by gluing my sunshine either in front of my cloud or behind your cloud. You get to choose whichever one you want. I think today I kind of like it behind the cloud. So I'm going to put just a tiny bit of glue on the bottom of my sun, not too much so that it's a big mess, but just enough so it'll stick. I'm going to lay them right on top of each other, push it down so that it stays. And then I'm going to glue on my raindrop. Now, raindrops don't come on top of the cloud, they come from the cloud. So I'm going to carefully glue my raindrops underneath the cloud so that it looks like the cloud is raining. This part's going to be a little bit tricky because you really don't need much glue at all. You need to be sure that you layer your raindrops on top of each other. If you do not layer, then there's nothing for the glue to stick to, silly gooses. Make sure you layer those raindrops. You get to be creative. However you want your raindrops to be falling out of the cloud is a-okay, and it works for me. But you do need to make sure that all 5 of your raindrops make it out of your cloud. I have 2 more. I think I'm going to put this one right here. And I think I'm going to put this other one right, let's see, right here. Looks good to me. I'm going to push it down. I'm going to make sure the cap gets put on my glue stick. And the very last step that I do not want you to forget today is to write your name. You worked really hard on painting this beautiful picture. You worked really hard on cutting. You worked hard on gluing and being creative with where your raindrops go. I want to be sure you can bring this home someday. You're going to flip it over and carefully write your name. It might be a little bit tricky because my sunshine is still a tiny bit wet. So I just wrote it really carefully. I didn't push too hard. I was writing it really lightly so that it didn't rip through my picture. Once you are done with your star activity today, it can go in the back by the sinks to dry, and I cannot wait to see them when I come back to school on Monday. Have a great day.